Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast, where every day we explore the latest innovations in technology and how they are helping reshape our world, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the worse, but that is debatable. And I'm your host, Neil C. Hughes, and today I've got a great guest joining us. His name is Stefan Colins, and he's Head of Marketing and Community at a company called Venly. And I've invited him to share his insights on the booming Web3 space and how Venly is succeeding in bridging the gap between Web2 and Web3 industries. And this is particularly interesting to me because over the years, 2,400 podcast interviews, I've seen a lot of companies try to do this and fail, sometimes in a spectacular fashion, but this is changing. So what are Venly doing different? How are they succeeding in bridging the gap between Web2 and Web3? And if we go back to 2017, when we're talking about blockchain or crypto, all anyone wanted to talk about was, has it got a website and is there a white paper? We've moved on from that gladly, but I think the hot topics right now are, how are we increasing adoption? How are companies in this space getting partnerships? And ultimately, again, bridging the gap between Web2 and Web3. So today, I also want to learn more about Venly's partnership with Stripe. And not only that, their integration with Shopify and how they managed to raise 21 million euros in Series A funding during a market downturn. So ultimately, I want to learn more about how to propel mainstream adoption by onboarding traditional companies to Web3 and also learn more about Stefan's journey into crypto space. So buckle up and hold on tight, because no matter where you're listening in the world, it's time for me to beam your ears all the way to Belgium, where Stefan is waiting to share his origin story and much more. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yes, hi. Thank you for having me. So I'm Stefan Colins, Head of Marketing at Venly. I am 40 years old and I'm in crypto since 2017. Always interested in economy and tokenization, and also I used to be leading a company who develops games. Freemium models and business model in gaming was something what intrigued me, and then I suddenly saw cryptocurrency and a digital currency popping up. So and that's actually how I rolled into the business. I have two kids based in Belgium, and I'm head of marketing at Venly.
And 2017, you entered the crypto space. That was when things were going pretty crazy, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I think I did the same right as a lot of people. So it was a bull market. Then everything went crazy. And I was very bullish on everything. And I set the entire ride up and down, like a lot of people I know. It was crazy, but I think everybody is in the same situation. You have to learn. And I'm not here for the short term. I believe in what we do. I believe in blockchain and the power of blockchain and the technology. So I'm lucky that I was already involved in 2017, because we are still early, but in 2017, between now and 2017, a lot of things already changed, and I'm happy I was at the front row of it. So
awesome. And I'd love to take you back in time even further, before blockchain, and maybe even before the internet. You said you were 40 years old, so I'm curious, where did your passion for technology come from, and what put you on this path that you're on right now? Is there a moment that springs to mind? A question I always ask every guest is, what is your origin story?
Yeah, very good question. And indeed, I'm 40, so I'm already an internet dinosaur, to say so. But I know when I was a little kid, I was always intrigued by doing technical things, and I was always putting radios together and get them out again and try to fix a lot of stuff, even I didn't have any knowledge about it. But I was always motivated by doing so. And then in 2000, I started actually my university doing multimedia communication technology. So it was very broad. It was even in university, we assembled computers and we had electricity and all this kind of stuff. But one of the courses we also had was multimedia and creating websites, and that was a time when Flash became popular. And from there on, I was very, very intrigued about the technology, and I saw suddenly animations popping up on the internet. So I started my company in 2004 when I just left school. I started my own company, and we built up a company with 25 people developing Flash games and Flash animations. And I did the same again in 2016, founded my second company, focusing still on gaming, but more like AR and VR technology. And this is where, if we know how the metaverse is evolving and evolving today, that's why I still have my interest in this kind of technology. So I used to be a developer in the past, but over time, running my own company, I rolled into marketing, I rolled into VR, AR, and now I try to combine my knowledge of technology and marketing to help shaping the metaverse and what we're doing here with blockchain.
And that path would eventually lead you to Venly, and I'm conscious we've mentioned it several times, and there will be people listening all around the world that are hearing about it for the first time. So can you tell me a little bit more about Venly and also the problems that you set out to solve with technology?
Yeah, so Venly is a blockchain technology provider creating products to help companies succeed in Web3. So what I mean, there are over 24 million Web2 developers today, and blockchain is coming up, but you don't, or a lot of people aren't blockchain developers, so they don't have the knowledge to build on top of blockchain. And that's actually where Venly comes in. What Stripe is as a payment solution is what Venly is for blockchain solution. So we leverage APIs and SDKs that developers, Web2 developers, actually can use our APIs and build on top of blockchain without having the knowledge of blockchain. So, and this is actually the power. We enable every Web2 developer start building on blockchain without being a blockchain specialist, without being a smart contract programmer, all these kind of things. So, and that's what Venly is. We really are like the layer between the blockchain and your project, your game, your platform, or whatever you're building on. Go-to-market of Venly today is gaming, e-commerce, and entertainment. So actually, we are cross-vertical. We can support every kind of project that wants to use the power of blockchain. And, it's about ownership, it's about transparency. So they can leverage our SDKs, and they are, I think they win 70-80% in time by using our solutions.
And of course, right now, we're in the middle of an economic downturn. There's uncertainty in every industry. And one of the things that put you on my radar was, despite all of this, I read that you completed a 21 million Series A funding round last year. So can you share with me some of the factors that contributed to Venly's ability to secure funding amidst a global venture funding downturn? Because it's phenomenal what you've achieved here, isn't it?
Yes, phenomenal. And I could say we are lucky, but actually it's not about luck. I think it's about the vision we have to bring like the bosses to Web3. As like we saw in 2018 already that user onboarding is a pain. And as long as we don't fix this, we will not create a major industry, a big industry, and we will not have the big adoption of the technology. So, and this is what our DNA is actually. We really want to solve the problem of user onboarding from Web2 to Web3. So we are using Web2 familiar experiences to bring people into Web3. And I think our VCs really understand that we really fix a pain by the services we are providing towards or the companies we work with. We are a B2B2C company, so we actually deliver our solutions to a development company that is building something that then will go to the end user. And it's all about user onboarding. So you're able to create wallets because, if you navigate in the metaverse in Web3 or blockchain, you need a wallet because you want to store your tokens or your NFTs, your crypto, whatever you want to store in Web3, which is a blockchain, you need a wallet. And this is what we do, but always with frictionless, seamlessly way of communicating and integrating stuff in the blockchain for Web3 users. So with your Facebook account and all this stuff. So our VCs understand that, and indeed we are lucky, or maybe not lucky, but we are happy that we could close our Series A funding, and I guess around March, April 22. And it was led by CoreSite and a few other companies like people and investors from our seed round also entered again in this Series A. So this was also for us a proof that, and also that they believe in what we do and they want to follow us on our path to bring in the next 100 billion people into Web3. So and from there on we built a company because the funds we collected is to scale the company and to make the products we have today better, and indeed also to create like partnerships with companies like Stripe and Shopify, just again with the same mission to onboard Web2 people into Web3, but with the technology under the hood, which is very important for us.
And you made some great points there, and I think it's impossible to talk about any blockchain technology or a company in this space without inevitably talking about, well, what about partnerships? How do we increase adoption? And again, one of the things that stood out for me was Venly's partnership with Stripe. It feels incredibly significant. So how will this collaboration help streamline the fiat to crypto on-ramping process that we often hear about? And also, what benefits can users expect from an integration like this?
Yeah, so it's indeed like we have a partnership with Stripe, where Venly has been selected as one of the companies in the pilot program about their new fiat to crypto on-ramp integration. So, and what we actually do is, if you want to bring people from Web2 into Web3, you need a frictionless way, and not everybody is like owning crypto, know how to buy crypto, and like fiat on-ramp, crypto on-ramp. These are very important things we need to bring people in. So, and this is what Stripe, as a payment solution provider, understand that they are at the gate to make this possible. And we, as a company delivering solutions for Web2 companies go into Web3, they then need this kind of frictionless way for collecting and selling things. And Stripe is here the partner that actually enables it to buy crypto without buying crypto, but using fiat. So it's really, you just use your euro or your pound or whatever currency you want. And behind the scenes, there's some magic happening, but you're doing crypto transactions. But it's like regulated and supported by Stripe. And we are very happy that we are one of the 16 companies in the pilot program, because we already integrated the Stripe payment solution into our wallet. So people that actually topping up or their wallet are actually using the Stripe gateway. So,
and something else I think we should talk about is the recent Shopify integration. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, and also what kind of opportunities that presents for Shopify users, especially those interested in doing things like, let's say, selling NFTs through their storefronts? And how do you envision this impacting the overall NFT marketplace?
Yeah, so indeed, we developed or we actually relaunched our Shopify app. We had an app 1.5 years ago, but we saw that we had to make it better and change some stuff to just make it way more professional than it was back in the day. So we relaunched our app, and it enables every Shopify storefront today to start selling NFTs just by installing our NFT Mentor app. So people know that are using Shopify, they know how to integrate or to install applications. It's exactly the same way. So it's fully integrated in Shopify, and it uses, of course, all the power of what Shopify is delivering today. So they can start selling NFTs, but they can choose their own payment provider. And why we believe this is, again, a very interesting path to go forward is, like, now we enable fashion labels, entertainment industry to start selling NFTs to mainstream people again. And you understand all the things you're doing is really to make it as easy as possible in different verticals. So the Shopify app here will help a lot of different verticals to enable selling NFTs. And why it's important, because a lot of brands are trying to figure out what they can do with NFTs, but we always want to give them like more strategic guidance too, to say, okay, think about your mid and long term. It's not about just selling an NFT, but it's a new way of how you will communicate over time with your end customer. We know that cookies are an issue today. So, and you need another way to communicate with them. And in Web3, your wallet is your centerpiece. So with a wallet, you will be connected in the metaverse. So if you now start selling NFTs and make fans for your brand with NFTs, maybe even connected to a physical object. I can maybe even buy a shoe or a shirt, and I get like a digital collectible or a digital twin with it. And then I can use the same clouds in a metaverse and attach it to my avatar. But it's stored in someone's wallet, and it will give brands on companies over time insight and what communities people are and how they need to communicate with them. So it's indeed a strategy, and it enables something with a very powerful Web2 platform to bring in Web2 people again to Web3 just by how they are selling or buying things every day.
And what I love about what you're doing here with Venly is how you've been successful in bridging the gap between Web2 and Web3 companies. And I think it is such a huge achievement. And over the years, I've seen many, many different companies try to do this and fail in the past. So I'm curious, on behalf of every startup founder listening around the world, are there any strategies and tools that your teams have employed to drive user growth and foster seamless onboarding of traditional companies into a Web3 ecosystem? Because I think that is what increases adoption. That's what drives success in the space. But it's very hard to achieve, isn't it?
It's indeed very hard to achieve. And even though we are not a crypto company, but we deliver solutions to crypto companies that are actually built on blockchain, we also are emotionally affected by the ups and downs of the market. But we always decided to keep on building, and we understand very early that like having partnerships with key partners and with blockchains and with metaverses is important to grow the ecosystem. To give you an example, like everybody knows the Sandbox metaverse. We are actually bringing a lot of users in the Sandbox metaverse with our wallet solution. So I guess over 1.5 million users are today entered the Sandbox metaverse via a Venly wallet without knowing that they're actually using our solution. And I think it's about strategic partnerships, and we always want to solve an issue, and we always want to do this frictionlessly and seamlessly. And I think this is what the industry is understanding. And this is also because we were quite early as a builder in the industry since 2018. We worked year after year with building relationships and spreading the word about how we should bring in the masses via seamlessly integrations. And this is how we did with Shopify. So we were indeed one of the first apps in Shopify to make it enable for storefronts to sell NFTs. And this is again because we stay close to our DNA. We have a pain that we want to fix, and everything we do along the way is with the same mission, with the same vision. And it's of course way more hard in these kind of times we are today with recession or with bear markets or whatever. But we believe that the technology is something that will disappear under the hood, and that's why we have a multi-chain approach. And we believe like it's about the experience that you deliver to the companies and the end user. And it's not about on what specific blockchain you then are. Of course, it's important, but that's why we support the different blockchains, because over time, multi-chain is the future, and bringing people in a very, very easy way is the first thing that we need to fix. And I'm doing a lot of events. I'm in quite some panels last year, and it's always about the same thing. If we want to bring in mainstream people into Web3, is it for gaming, is it for fashion, is it for metaverse, is it for applications? We need to fix the way they enter it, and we need to get the trust of Web2 users, and that's what we try to build and what we want to achieve with the products we deliver to our customers, and they to their end user.
100% with you. And it's so refreshing to hear you say that. And as you said, as someone that goes to a lot of tech conferences and you're on a lot of panels, everyone's asking the same question. So it's great to hear people all tackling that same problem. And I've got to ask though, what's next for Venly? Where do you go from here? Is there anything you can share about what you're focusing on, your goals for the road ahead, and also your vision for the future of Venly and the role it will play in driving innovation across the Web2 and Web3 industries? I appreciate you're probably fairly locked down and can't share too much, but is there anything you can share about the road ahead, or leave us with a few teasers?
So we want to keep on continue doing what we do, and it's make it as easy as possible for Web2 developers to start building on Web3. What we want to do, because our vision is that blockchain should be under the hood and that multi-chain is like the future. So we will adding new chains, blockchain, because sometimes a project or a brand is coming to us with a specific chain request. And then we try to indeed help them and educate them about, okay, choosing one chain is important, but over time, multi-chain is important. So adding chains as a multi-chain agnostic company is fundamentally for us. This is what we do. we also are improving our products. We also going to build like what we have for Shopify. We're going to build solutions for other well-known platforms. We are launching our mobile application very soon, so that people can install the mobile application and just use a QR code. So how they are used to do and do payments in Web2 for Web3. That's what we're all building on. We're also launching our business portal. It's more for corporate customers, of course, but we actually want to, in every step, someone is getting in touch with Venly, we want to make it as easy as possible. And we keep on building. And I'm 1.5 years in the company. I was number 10. Now today we're with 60 people. So we also hiring more people and bringing more talent in to build on the different verticals, where gaming is an important one for us, where entertainment, fashion is important. And I believe that the metaverse, how people are explaining what the metaverse is, we want to be like a foundational partner, and we really want to support as many as possible brands and customers, helping them to create platforms and products and let them succeed in Web3. So having more partners, building better products every day is what drives us to keep on building, even in market situations like this.
Well, I absolutely love chatting with you today about all things Venly, but something I always try and do on this podcast, and I'm incredibly passionate about, and that's putting the location of the guest on the map and learn more about the tech community outside of Silicon Valley. These are the stories that are so important, and I love sharing them. So is there anything you can share with me or talk about around the tech scene in Belgium and what you're seeing over there?
Yeah, I can share something about regulation and first of all, like I want to address that security is very important for us. That's also why we recently announced, I think a few days ago, that we have our ISO 27001 certification in place, because the security is so important. How we navigate through the space and what we do with the information we have from user ends. So this is very important. Like the ISO certification and GDPR compliance is important. We are a Belgian company, like you said, so we are in Europe. So like the MiCA regulation is something that we need to take into account. KYC, KYB is very important. So know your customer is something we are integrating, or we have to integrate in different platforms and products we have. It's in our wallet. It's also in our Venly marketplace that people need to do KYC. And we feel that, it's not everybody is happy with this. Like you feel like people understand why regulation is important, and then you have like a subset of people that is against it. But I believe that regulation is something that we need. We need to control it a bit, but as long as the space is not regulated, of course, the big enterprises and institutions will never enter, and we will not grow this to a very, very big mature industry. And we're a Belgian company, so we have like something like the SEC, but the FSMA. So as a crypto company, we are one of the crypto companies in Belgium. We really need to be sure that every single step we do is regulated by the FSMA, and my colleague and co-founder Gerbert is like working very hard and closely together with the regulators, just to ensure that all the things we are doing is what we need to do and is of course legal. And you know that the crypto space is not that easy, and like crypto is not a currency or something connected to one country. It's a global currency, and then you have all the countries with their own regulation and their own rules. So we try to help as many as deal as possible, actually, to support and work together with the regulators and with the FSMA and being compliant. And MiCA regulation is something we need to take into account, and our team is already working months and months, I guess even a year, on being regulated and having all things in place to be a partner. Because if you want to deliver solutions to Fortune 500 companies, this is the first thing they want to see. Are you GDPR compliant? How are you addressing security? And that's why ISO certification, GDPR is important, and having all the legal proofs we can have to show them that we are here and we are here to stay. But Belgium, again, it's a small country. It's 11 million people. It's as big as New York, I guess. So It's it's a very interesting scene to say so. And we have a few bigger companies, like we are one of the biggest companies in Belgium, and there are two other big companies in Belgium, and they all have the same issue and doing the same exercise today to find the right way to be fully regulated and have the full support of the things we need. But we are on the good way, we are on the path, and we are working on it. We have a team actually in the company who is full-time working on compliancy regulation. So this is also very, very important for us as a company.
Well, today you've shared with everyone your origin story, your insights around strategies and tools that you've employed to drive user growth and foster seamless onboarding of traditional companies in the Web3 ecosystem, and even told us all about the tech scene in Belgium. But now at the fun part of the show, well, I'm going to ask you to leave everyone with one final gift, and that is, for everyone listening, if there was a book that you would ask them to, that you would leave them and ask them to read, or a song that has inspired you, we can add the song to Spotify playlist, we can add the book to an Amazon wish list, but all I'm going to ask is, what are you going to leave us with and why?
There are two things I want to mention, actually. It's one book and it's one song. I'm going to start with the song because it's funny to see how the time is changing, and it's a song of Snoop Dogg, because, you know, Snoop Dogg is very active in the Sandbox, and suddenly he starts singing about his Sandbox lands and about his avatar. And I just forget the title of it, but I will send it over to you that you can add it to the description of it. But the Snoop Dogg song about the Sandbox and about the metaverse is just so something that is connected to the time we are in today. Like, it's a song from 2022. So it was very funny suddenly to hear a song about the Sandbox. And I don't know that everybody who is listening to the song even understand what he is thinking about, but I believe in a few years, when they will listen to the song, they will say, damn, in 2022, he was already singing about metaverses, avatars, and virtual lands. And now we are 5-7 years later, and he was already doing it there. So I think this is a funny part. And then it's maybe an easy one, but if you want to understand what the metaverse is, as a brand, as a user, I suggest you to read the book of Matthew Ball. And maybe a few people are saying this, but Matthew Ball created a book, The Metaverse, and how it will revolutionize everything. I believe it's quite a big book, but I believe that this is a very nice book to understand the scene we are in today, and to understand what the metaverse can help, or how metaverse can help brands and companies and users come all that. And so, The Metaverse by Matthew Ball is definitely a book that I enjoyed during my flights reading. So,
what a great choice there. And the song too. I think I know the song you're talking about. I think it was called House I Built. And I seem to remember Snoop rapping it in my sandbox with my feet up, right?
Yeah, that's it. House I Built from Snoop Dogg. This is indeed. Thank you for saying the title here. I was looking about it. So that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'll get both of those added to our wish list. And for anyone listening, just wanting to find out more information about Venly, the topics we explored today, maybe they want to join your community or contact your team, what's the best starting point for all things Venly?
I think we did a great job on launching a new website. So if you go to venly.io, you'll find all information. We have a menu item where you find all the links to our Discord. We have a Discord server too, so venly.io/Discord, and you will be automatically redirected to our Discord, where you can just meet like-minded people. If you're a builder, we have like a Web3 builder section on our Discord, and we have also contact forms on the website, so people can always reach out to us or send us a DM or tag us in a tweet. We are all over the place on social media, so if you want to reach out to us, Twitter, LinkedIn, website, Discord, it doesn't matter, you will find us somewhere, and we're happy to have a chat and see how we can potentially help people to make their first steps into Web3.
Wow, we covered so much in a short amount of time there, from the tech scene in Belgium to that Stripe partnership there, where Venly has been selected to pilot new fiat to crypto on-ramps, the integration allowing Shopify users to sell NFTs via their Shopify storefront, and also, I think most importantly, how to propel mainstream adoption by onboarding traditional companies and making it easier, seamless to go to Web3. Love what you're doing here. I'd love to stay in touch with you and see how this evolves, but just thank you for sharing your story today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Neil. I enjoyed this a lot.
So a huge thank you to Stefan for joining me today in an incredibly insightful conversation about the future of blockchain technology, Venly's vision and their efforts to drive user growth and onboard traditional companies into the Web3 ecosystem. And it was also great to touch on the tech scene in Belgium. So I cannot thank him enough for not only sharing his insights, but even leaving us with a Snoop track too. And if you want to learn more about Venly and their solutions, please remember, visit their website, venly.io. And if you enjoyed today's episode and you want to add something to the conversation, email me directly, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, @NeilCHughes. Leave us a rating and review and subscribe to Tech Talks Daily if you want to help support the show. And if you want to come on here, again, send me a quick email. I'll gladly sit down with you and ensure we get your voice heard too. So, as always, stay curious, keep exploring the world of technology, Web3 and beyond. Thank you for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.